Today we're being joined by former Swans AFLW player Jenny Higgins. Jenny, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No, so obviously from Ireland. So obviously, how was the jump to play footy and obviously join the Swans? Was it a tough move to eventually join the club at that point?
Yeah, I suppose it was a bit of a whirlwind, really. Around this time last year was when I got the call to think about joining the Swans, and I think it just snowballed from there. So yeah, it was a big move. I suppose coming into the game relatively kind of naive, not knowing much about the game, and being a really established and experienced player in my own field, and then going into a beginner for AFLW was a challenge, but one I really enjoyed.
What were some skills that you feel that they got the Swans' attention in the sport you're playing at home in Ireland?
Yeah, I guess for all Irish girls, and I suppose myself was probably no different. They see us as huge athletes. Our speed, our power, agility, what we bring to the game. I guess our running as well, our two-way running as they call it in Oz is really elite. We're so used to getting up and down the ground continuously. There's no real stoppages in our game, and I suppose that brings huge advantages to the team. As well as that, we have marking or catching in our game as well, and the kicking will be quite similar as well, and the patterns of play or the movement as well will be quite similar. Guess when you throw an oval ball into it, though, it does pose huge difficulties and challenges. So that's probably where the challenges lie for the transfer over.
Sure. So obviously, how was the processing getting picked? Obviously, it's an interesting, tough decision to make. But when it got official, how did you react to getting told that you're going to get the gig there at the Swans?
Yeah, it was so surreal. Like it's even now it's hard to believe that I was there. Like it's a dream come true. For I suppose we play at an amateur level here, so to be offered a professional sporting contract is things you can't even dream of when you're a young girl. So being the first contracted from my own county or my team here as well was a huge honor, and I suppose you felt a kind of sense of responsibility to go out there and represent not only your own club here, but also your country, because the Irish girls that went out have all done so well. So I was delighted. And Sydney Swans is such a renowned club. Everybody here knows it and has heard of it. So to be actually drafted for the Sydney Swans was a huge honour.
Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of Irish players these days. Obviously, in the men's competition, but there's a lot more common now in the women's competition. I know North Melbourne got Neve Martin, Erica O'Shea, who are doing really well there. Aisling Maloney. There's a fair few players, all Lally as well. There's so many of them, and it must be good to see a lot of Irish girls representing in the AFLW as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I guess like with the Irish girls, we have a huge role to play in the sport at the moment, and it comes from years and years of our practice over here in Ireland. We start playing from when we're 4 or 5 years of age, and um, as I said, it is an amateur level, but we train at such a high level over here, and it's great then to see that we can compete with the highest level in Australia as well, and that we can compete with the professional athletes over there. So there's 34 Irish girls. There were 34 Irish girls in the league in 2023, and I definitely think that will continue to rise.
That's good. That's a good thing. And now, obviously, this was the first year at the Swans. So I know it's a tough time to move on, but how was the opportunity? I suppose it's better than nothing, I suppose, but a good experience as well.
Yeah, so I guess I had an amazing experience. So I've the best. Myself and my husband moved over at the end of May, and we've had the best 7 months of our lives. As I said, the Swans have been amazing. They've been fantastic from even making the transition over. They couldn't do enough for us, and we've had the best time with them. We really have a home away from home there in the Swans, and I guess I was just learning the game and was just coming into my own when I hurt my knee. So was very unfortunate. I actually was possibly due to make my debut in the coming weeks before or after I hurt my knee. And then of course that's sport for you, and then out of nowhere I did my ACL, so that could have pulled the rug from under my feet. But look, like that, it doesn't take away from the experience that we've had. But I guess timing of it meant that to take the 12 to 18 months out would mean I'd miss the entire season for next season. So unfortunately meant I couldn't be in the plans for the Swans. But my time there has been fantastic, and I hold all of those people and my teammates, management, even the culture of the Bloods there, the from Tom Hardy all the way down, hold them very dear, and would definitely see that they are home away from home over there.
I'm sure I've had a fair few senior players on. I think I've probably had 7, and that's just partly shows how good of a culture they got and how opening they are, and they actually care about everyone as well through any other roles as well. Who were some players at the club that you got along with pretty well at the Swans?
Oh gosh, I could name all 33 of them or 32 because, really everybody went out of their way to make me feel so welcome. And, within a couple of weeks of arriving there, it felt like I had been there my whole life. And that's testament, I suppose, to the characters that are within the team. So it is very hard. I couldn't really pick out one or two because there are so many dear friends there. But like even from Chloe and Lucy as co-captains all the way down, there's so many amazing people and amazing characters within the squad, and very fortunate to have I've met those people and consider them friends.
You mentioned before too with the ACL. I know it's early days, I suppose, but how's the recovery going in that for you?
It's going really well, actually. So I'm 12 weeks post-op from yesterday. So I guess the first couple of weeks are really difficult. I've never really had a serious injury. So again, very fortunate to reach 31 and never really have a serious injury. So I guess this was just my turn and my time to have to go through this. So the first couple of weeks were very challenging because you go from the peak of your powers to not being able to lift your leg off the bed. So that was quite a difficulty. But I guess in the last couple of weeks, the S&Cs and the physios within the Swans have really pushed me on, and they've been absolutely amazing. I can't thank them enough. And I'm back in doing kind of more substantial weights now and jumping and landing. So yeah, really, really well. I think it's as good as it could be at the moment. So fingers crossed it continues to go that way.
Mm-hmm. So what do you feel is next for you? Are you more focused on the recovery, then kind of figure it out after that process, or have you got an idea what you want to do when you come back?
I don't actually. I think with the ACL, it's such a kind of an up and down kind of road that you can't really look too far ahead. So, ideally, like you'd be back in 12 months and back to the best you were. Actually, with most ACL injuries, you actually come back better and stronger and fitter and faster because you have the rehab is so challenging, and it you have to really immerse yourself in it. But because it's such a kind of up and down road, I try not to look too far ahead. So for me, it's just 1 week at a time. Like obviously, would love to get back play for my local community club here, which I'm very passionate about, Clonagale, and then my own county, and Roscommon. I would love to get back there and even maybe play some AFLW again at some stage. But all of that is kind of very far in the future at the moment, and at the minute I just need to focus on kind of getting myself back on the field running, and then twist and turns, and then into contact and see where that takes me.
Obviously, the team senior, they had a really terrific year in their second season in the competition, obviously not winning their game in their first year and then being so well this year, then winning a final as well. How did you assess the teams? Yeah.
I think we just grew. From the very first week that I arrived, I feel like week after week we just grew and grew and grew, and not just, I suppose, on the field, but also off the field. Really, I suppose, working on that blood culture and like everybody getting around each other and really becoming one big family. And I think that was evident as the year progressed. That bond off the field and on the field really started to grow. I suppose with such a young group as well, they had such belief. There was huge belief in the squad, and Scott and Davo and all the management team. They had instilled huge belief in us, and I think that was testament to how far we actually went this year. If you match belief with talent and a huge work ethic, who knows what you can achieve.
What were some key, particularly games or moments throughout the season that you thought, this is a team that in their second year, a lot of a young team, and they're bloody good, and they can get to the position where they ended up going to? Was there any key games early in the year or even late against Collingwood in particular?
So the first win was huge, obviously, against the Giants. But we kind of all felt that was brewing. We kind of felt that was coming. But for me, I think when I look back on the season, I think of my proudest moment was probably the Collingwood game. Collingwood were a huge team in the competition for years, and the performance that day was phenomenal. And every player, from the very start to the very end, gave it everything. And I guess that was kind of, for me, the turning point in being like, yeah, we can compete with the best of the teams here in this competition.
Sure. So who's some players individually at the club that you feel had a really good season in terms of like in terms of expectations. I suppose some young players like Sophia Hurley had a breakout season, having a rising sun. I imagine any players like Sophia or anyone in that kind of area that have shot up and done really well.
Yeah, like there's so many stars in the club, and rising stars, and Sophia would be definitely one of those when I think of it. Laura Gardner as well had a fantastic
Yeah,
season. Chloe Malloy is just an absolute superstar. Even the way she goes about her business is just, she's a real role model for everybody. Again, both on the field and off the field. Um, I think even like from the back line, it was great to see someone like BT or Brenna Tarrant get a bit of recognition as well. She has been so solid all year and such a lovely person as well. So delighted to see her have such a great season. And I guess I'm a little bit biased with this one, but my own Irish woman, Tanya Kennedy, I think she had an absolute fantastic season. And a lot of the work Tanya does goes a little bit unnoticed because
yeah.
it doesn't necessarily be stats that she gets for her work, but without her, the team doesn't function. So she usually takes out the best player on the opposition, and she's done it so effectively this year in her first season at AFLW. So hugely proud of her, and I'm so excited to see even what she does for next season.
Absolutely. You mentioned Tanya. She had a great year, and as you said, like a shutdown role. Those type of the players are generally the ones that don't get as noticed as much as they probably should as well. And then obviously you mentioned Laura Gunner. I had Scotty Gowans on a few weeks ago, and he said when they brought Laura across from Geelong, they probably planned to play as a small forward. And I think it was in either a scrimmage match or something like that, or a training session. She played as a small forward, and they put her into the midfield. And then she demanded, she said, I'm staying in this position. And she had a terrific season, and she could have really won the benefit at the end for the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And she won it for the club, of course, but she was very close to the overall as well, and well deserved because, yeah, she's just a fantastic person and a fantastic athlete as well.
For sure. And you mentioned BT Branson, who I've had on a few times as well, and really reliable defender, and probably didn't get recognised as much too in the All Australian squad at the bare minimum.
Yeah, definitely. Again, a lot of time with defenders as well, like what their role that they play, it doesn't necessarily always show up in the stats. I think sometimes we can get bogged down with stats, but again, without BT in the squad doing what she does, like the team wouldn't function. So very fortunate to have her on the squad.
Sure, definitely. Now, what was some nicknames you got at the club that you were either happy with or you weren't fond with?
For me, I didn't have too many nicknames, so it was good. It was actually part of one thing that I found was a bit strange. Coming from Ireland, we don't really have nicknames for our teams, really, well, the female teams anyway. And
Yeah.
then coming into the squad, I thought I kind of knew everyone's name on my first day because I literally got off a flight on a Sunday and I was into training on a Monday, and I kind of tried to get to know everyone's names before landing in Australia, and then in training, I remember it was really funny. Everybody started calling each other by their nicknames, so I was completely lost again. But yeah, I didn't really pick up too many nicknames because I suppose, yeah, I Jenny is already my shortened name, so thankfully that's all the ones I had.
It's short and sharp. That's nice. Did Scotty have any coach's pet that you feel that he had?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Coach's bet. I'm gonna say Paris McCarthy.
Carthy,
Yeah.
okay. I've heard
Yeah.
Chloe Malloy a few times. Is that accurate?
Definitely, yeah. I think with the two of them, yeah. So obviously they've had a huge bond because he's known her for most of
Well,
her
yeah.
AFL career, yeah. So yeah, I could see why people would say Chloe Malloy, yeah, definitely.
So obviously, while you were playing in the scrimmage matches, what type of play would you best describe yourself as? Obviously, you mentioned with the Irish girls, and you mentioned yourself as well about the speed and agility and everything like that. What type of player would you compare yourself in the style of player?
So I was very much learning the sport and kind of finding my feet. I started off in the kind of key defender role, and that
Yeah.
was more so just to learn the game. I don't really play a defender role in Ireland. It's more midfield, kind of half forward. So then I gradually made my way out to the midfield, and I was just kind of, I would say, kind of excelling at the rolling around the midfield in the scrimmage games when I hurt my knee. I guess I was playing in as a ruck, but not necessarily your traditional ruck. Actually, not at all your traditional ruck. I was more of a runner, so I'd be quite a strong, powerful runner. My kind of speed and kind of the speed in which I cover the ground would be one of my strengths. So yeah, not a traditional ruck as such, but playing as nearly a tall body midfielder. So yeah, bit disappointed that I never really got to fulfill or kind of see how that role was going to evolve. I definitely think it was well suited to me. I feel like it was something that in the next couple of weeks, even after the game which I hurt my knee, I would say I would have come into my own in that role. But unfortunate, yeah, just that sport for you.
It is. It's unfortunate. Can't always, unfortunately, get everything the right way 100% of the time. What game do you feel, or type of games, or a block of games do you feel got you noticed from playing games in Ireland, and then getting the call up to play AFLW for the Swan? It's made on their list.
It's very hard to pick just like one block of games. I think my career, I've over 130 appearances for my team here, and I'm a real experienced, I suppose, leader on my squads, and I think that's probably the reason the Swans kind of went for me. In terms of like just the way I go about my business and just kind of building and driving standards. That's kind of so something I've been known for most. And then producing it on the field then on the big days. But yeah, I guess it's kind of more so my whole career as opposed to just kind of one or two kind of big games that I've had here. I would presume that that's probably why Kate and Scott kind of sat down with me this time last year to chat with me.
Yeah. So, who would you say some of the players that are the most underrated players in the can be for the Swans or any of the opposition that you watched? You feel that doesn't get talked about as much. It probably really should in for the years to come.
Again, I'm going to say like when you think of underrated, I think it's Tanya Kennedy is kind of one of the ones I would pick out there.
Yeah.
Because again, I just think that she had a phenomenal season and probably didn't get half the recognition that she deserved because she really like she marked some of the best players in the competition and in her first season and completely new to the game, like still learning the rules of it only a couple of months ago. And definitely for her, I think on oppositions, yeah, it's actually hard. It's hard to pick out some. For me, I was so involved in just watching my own team and kind of
Yeah.
seeing how they progress. But um, I guess Lucy McAvoy as well would probably be another one. I know she's co-captain and very well established, but
Yeah.
again, I think probably doesn't get all the recognition that she deserves as well because she's more of a quiet person and kind of just goes about her business and gets things done. But like a huge, huge important leader and a huge important character in our team.
Sure. Who loves the limelight, the attention, and the camera at the Swans, and they just can't get enough, and they know exactly where the camera is, and they know when to celebrate or do something because they know the camera's on them.
Oh, let me see.
Because I've heard and seen some footage of some of the girls trying to scare players from around the corner in bins. I know Cynthia Hamilton's been scared a few times, and a couple others over as well.
Yeah, Cynthia. Cynthia, I guess, yeah, she would probably be a good character. Yeah, she'd be good to nominate for that role. Yeah.
This might kind of be the similar question, but what's something someone does at the club that you cannot stand with it? Is it something like that, or is there anything else in particular?
Gosh, it's really hard to actually pick something that like that. I can't stand. Oh,
Anyone like
actually,
ruckus around doing the scaring type of
oh,
stuff?
Bella, actually, maybe, yeah, Bella is scaring people all the time, but I wouldn't say I can't stand it. It just gives me a
Yeah.
fright every now and then. Just when you're least expecting it, maybe at 7 a.m. in the morning, she pops around the corner and scares everybody. But yeah,
That's fair. Any outside of footy interests that you have?
I'm actually a qualified primary school teacher, so yeah, so I'm actually I'm home in Ireland at the moment, so I'm heading up to my own local school that I taught in before I left for Australia. So I'm going up to them today for Christmas fair. So yeah, I'm a primary teacher and very passionate about that outside of football.
Oh, so that's good. So obviously defenders, they probably don't get recognised as much in the AFLW or AFL as well, for that matter. Obviously, with the best and fairest entity in the competition, it's really a midfielders award, and sometimes rucks get recognised, and the forwards have their own Coleman Medal Leader Race award. Should the defenders have their own official title of an award, whatever you want to call it, but an official title to some degree?
Definitely. I played in the backs for a good maybe 8, 9 weeks when I started off, and you get to see firsthand the work that they do and kind of the unselfish work that they do as well. So definitely there should be something there, whether it be like the best mothers or the best kind of defensive marks or something like that that just gets them an award. Yeah, because again, without them, like when I think of our own backline, like they were phenomenal, particularly as the year went on. So yeah, they deserve a bit more recognition.
Sure, they definitely do. And I'll wrap it up for a quiz, Jenny. So, I really appreciate you coming in. Now, it's a quiz about your own team. It's at the Swans. How well do you think you knew your own teammates?
Pretty well as the year went on, I guess. Yeah, it took me a couple of weeks to get to know everybody, but yeah, not too bad, I think, at this stage.
So, how it'll be, there'll be 3 questions. There's 3 clues. So, what I'll do is I'll give 2 clues, and then you'll have to guess which current teammate you think it is. Then, if you get it wrong, I'll give you 1 more additional clue, and then you have to get on that second attempt. How do you think go? All right?
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
All right, let's fire away. All right. So, question 1, the first 2 clues for player 1 is they were a defender and they played every week. Who do you think that is?
BT? Brendan?
Yep. Darren BT. Got it. Right. That's 1 for 1. Now, I'm just going to add 2, no pressure, but I think I haven't asked every single person I've had on, but I reckon I've asked probably 10 people now, and not one person has got any of those 3 questions wrong. So no pressure, but you got one. But they may have been helped a little bit sometimes.
I was going to say, can I get a bit of a pass because I'm Irish and pretty new?
Sure, absolutely. Question 2. This player loves a goal, is a young rising star. That's the 2 clues for the question 2.
Sophia Hurley.
Boom. 2 for 2. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Now, actually, I'm not going to say why yet. I'm going to mention this at the end. So this last one is this player is a tough player, has played 12 AFLW games currently. That's the 2 clues for this person.
Oh, that could be the tough player could be anyone. 12 AFLW games. I'm going to go with maybe like Alice Mitchell.
No, right. So here's the final clue, and this might be an easier clue. I probably should have put something different. The final clue is they're Irish.
Oh, Judy, she's played 12 AFLW.
Yes.
Oh, it must be Tanya then. Tanya Kennedy.
It is Tanya Kennedy. Well done.
Didn't she had 12 games played. Oh, yeah, sure. I forgot about the finals. Of course.
That's right. Well, I mean, the hint I would have given away is that she was mentioned a few times on here, but then I knew would have got it. But then again, I would still got it. So, Jenny, I really appreciate you coming on. All the best in the recovery in the ACL and what's next for you after. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks very much, Cooper. Thank you.